Well, welcome everybody. We've got the opening matches for Nicov and Running in Titans League Season 5. Nicov was top 4 in Titans League Season 4. He only had 6 wins in group stage, ends up getting to playoffs somehow, and then he ends up moving all the way and losing eventually, I think, to Hera in the semifinals. So not a bad showing from him. He'll look to repeat that. He's gone for the Chinese, and then we've got Running here in the red. The groups are always going to be really difficult, and there's 2 players that get relegated to US. I think Running is going to have a real tough time staying up, but I'd love for him to prove me wrong here.
Yeah, I do too. I think the one good thing for Running... Also, what colors are you going to use? I'll put Running in red, I think.
Yep, Running in red.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Matches the flag a bit, right? Nicov in blue for Argentina, Running in red for Germany. So yeah, I think Running is going to have a hard chance not being bottom of the group. But I think the map pool and the way the drafts work out means he's always going to have a closed map like Coast Arena he picked. And that should suit him really well. A couple of the maps like Tulo and Zimbabwe were in Stronghold Frenzy, which he played in. So he's going to be pretty familiar with them. And I don't know if he's going to be the favorite to win every set. But I think he's a lock to at least have one win, or maybe even be the favorite for one single map. Not that he's gonna do all that well against the incredible players in this bracket with him, but I think the settings do favor him maybe playing the spoiler role and upsetting some other players on certain maps.
No, I could see that. I mean, if you look at all the Titans League seasons, there's almost always been that player who stays alive because they don't get swept, right? And we've seen instances this season in the upper and lower league where a player, something goes wrong the first game, they lose, they resign. Game 2 and 3, they're just mentally defeated and they can't play their best. I think players who are like that will really struggle in this format. Whereas Running, I find his consistency from game to game, win or lose, is really strong. So I agree. It's just, unfortunately, the competition is so high. And you got ACCM, Sebastian, Andy, Lewis, and then Nicov. He's going to have to send somebody down if it's not going to be him. So we got Chinese here from Nicov. This map is dominated by the Shorefish. Chinese always need food to get their start rolling, and the start has been brilliant for Nicov so far, so that's good. But then we got Incas on the other side from Running. So what do you think about the Incas pick?
Well, we've seen a lot of swordsman play on this map. Lots of men-at-arms. I know we've seen some Armenian longswords. We've seen some Flemish militia from the Burgundians. And that's so dominant. I think the Inca could be a great play if you manage to kind of have an even game that gets to the Castle Age, and then you can add in slingers. But that's against most of the normal civs we'd see here. The Chinese have a great eco, but don't really feel like they're specialized for the map as some of the other civs are. Like we have Japanese or Dravidians for the Shorefish and the good swordsman line. We've seen Romans and Armenians. So I'm not sure what to expect from Nicov here if he does go for the men-at-arms line, or maybe just tries to go archers.
Yeah, I think at least the build so far, Nicov he's able to do this. It's actually one of the weakest builds for Chinese because of the 0 food start. Getting the food for man-at-arms is tricky, but he pushed in virtually every deer he had around. He brought in his boars. He only has 12 seconds of TC idle time. And then he can always shift over to the Shorefish now. So I think there's... he could make this work, but what is he going to be up against? Because Running has been, well, walking, and he is going to build a barracks near the Shorefish. And I mean, he is placing the barracks directly where Nicov is milling as well.
He is. Will Nicov see this? His vills are close to it.
Yeah.
Man, if he were Koreans here, that's also in his draft, the vills with extra line of sight might actually see the barracks.
Well,
but
my first thought is the surprise has to work because Nicov is also going to be surprising him. And because Running has been escorting this villager this entire time, he hasn't been looking for Nikov's opening at all. And to your point, you don't always expect men-at-arms from Chinese. So both players maybe will surprise the other. Nicov will have 4 units here in a second. The late barracks means that this is very delayed for Running. But the surprise is a factor for both, I guess.
And the gold is so close to your TC, the men-at-arms can't really hit it. They have to go to that wood line, and Running, he's seen that scout there for a long time.
Yeah. I think
doesn't wall.
This is the downside. This is the downside of trying to be sneaky yourself, is you just don't have the scouting you need. It puts more pressure on him to get damage. And Nicov will just move right up to the shorefish as well. So wherever those shorefish are, they need to be walled up. Nicov, he's just towering because he's expecting man-at-arms as well here, T-West. He doesn't know the barracks is there, but it's the right play just to tower because he hasn't seen any army. And that tower might end up saving him here. We'll see.
Yeah, the tower should be able to spot the barracks, and it does.
That's wild. Oh, and a tower from running as
walls. Well. Yeah, we've seen a lot of towers on the shorefish against those initial men-at-arms. It's kind of still leaving you open, but if you can fight the men-at-arms outside of the tower and get the tower fire, then you can kill them.
Yep, and running will see the tower. He sees the walls. It's unfortunate his barracks was so close, to be honest. I think had it been further away, it would have been beneficial. It'll see the range from Nicov. He's looping around with the man-at-arms. But Nicov, I think, is fairly safe. And running does not have a wood line right now. He's losing his lumber camp. No archery range for him is going to be a problem.
Yeah, he's just taking the straggler trees. At least your TC defends a lot of your base here. But that's what the very early Drush can do. It can get in before you're able to make walls. And running's trying to dive the TC. Man. Don't know if he'll be able to do much damage there, but he's in.
That's some crazy quick walling from Nicov right there. He got the initial walls, so he could dish some damage out on the man-at-arms. And then he also was getting the quick walls behind in case they got through. And now he's got 2 archers there, and those man-at-arms are pretty much a waste. And meanwhile, running still doesn't have a wood line. And we have a very, very dominant first game and quick first game from Nicov. That's what he could do.
Well, Nikov's saying, I know T90 has a flight he needs to catch. Let's make sure we don't drag this out too long. We'll get a quick win in game 1.
Yeah. I'm a little grateful for that, not gonna lie, because the next 2 games could be very long and I don't want to miss them. But yeah, that is an example of running, trying to do something completely out of the box to beat a player he thinks is better than him, and it just failed miserably. Right? It just failed miserably. There's no other way to say it. We can move on. Just such a big lead for Nicov. He would trap the army. He would kill the Vils. He's Chinese. It's pretty over. Here we are, Coast Arena. This game has given us nothing but bangers. You have the water on the outside. You've got the walls and the arena style with stone and gold in the inside. You could tower rush, you could castle drop, you could play water, you could play land. There's lots of options here, but to start, the water is one of the big reasons you would see the melee picked. And I'm just wondering, like, because I saw the melee before, and they just boomed, they won water, and then they just beat every other civ to the Imperial Age. So Georgian bonuses are not great here unless it's messy. So my prediction, I could be completely wrong, is Nicov will actually try a transport ship. And if he were to do that and go to the left side, that is a very long journey. that is a very long journey.
I'll need to scout where he is. But, yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy to do that, right? It's arena. You just go forward with the scout and you see immediately. Like I don't think he goes to the left side. I mean, unless he wants to be sneaky, right? If he wants to be sneaky, he could transport on the left side.
Well, the key here is he needs to scout the walls, I guess. I've seen a bunch of gens. I guess it's possible it's kind of off-centered, but that's a little uncommon. So now he sees the walls. I think with his dock being on the right side, if he were to transport, he would probably get there even faster, if anything.
Yeah, this is about as close as they can be on this map. So there's an angle they can be between, and this is about as small as that can be right now.
How much fun did you have scripting this map? Because we had a lot of requests. We had a lot of very particular requests, like the gold and the stone being fixed on the forward walls has to be right.
Yeah.
And then the gold and stone in the middle, the relics, the water, the oysters.
I've been thinking of making a video about this, but I think it might be like a horror video for programmers because this is very, very hacky. The RMS language is very limited, and I essentially had to have some code that sometimes is a comment and sometimes isn't. in the map script. And if there's a programmer in T90's chat, I'm sure that you are having nightmares right now. But yeah, we have the diagonal gates. Those were several days of experimenting until I could get them consistently.
You experimented several days with diagonal gates?
Yes. I wanted to make sure they were, because in the original map we had, and also this is a lovely script originally by the Mad Catter, but sometimes players would have one gate, sometimes they'd have two gates, and sometimes they had three. And I looked at that and I thought, I'm going to get so many complaints from players because they don't have a gate, or they couldn't get out of their base, or they got trapped. I need to make sure they have the same number. And the only way I could do that consistently was if I used the diagonal gates, but the game doesn't place them by default. You have to do a lot of manual and hacky stuff to get them to line up in exactly the right tiles.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you have to make sure that you can't just place them in the wall. Like, you see how they're kind of like one tile forward with that wall behind them?
Yeah.
If I just place them straight in the wall, like the normal gates, then you could tower hop over them.
Yep.
And I was sure we'd see someone not be aware of that and then get tower hopped in their base.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't code. I just talk and play, but I have very specific balance requests. I have no clue. You guys don't realize I have zero clue on how you could actually make a script work properly, but I am very opinionated. T-West will attest to this on like the balance of it. You try and think about the flow of the game and how it will work out competitively. So you're incredible. I appreciate you. And I am, as we've been talking, I'm still so confused. Nicov deleted part of his wall. He walked over towards the outside seawall, which I don't know how strong this is against land units. I guess it actually has no melee armor, so maybe it's super weak. And it almost looks like Nicov is gonna like attack it. Forward. Is he gonna attack it with like a Vil?
I've seen forward docks on this map before.
Hear me out though. What if you attacked the seawall that's in the area where you can't build? There would be no way they can quick wall behind it, right?
Yeah, and also I think Nicov, I've seen players delete walls to go for forward docks. I think you need to delete the wall that's on the beach, because then you can re-wall if you have to. I think Nicov deleted on the shallows, where I guess he could do a dock there later.
Yeah.
But he can't re-wall that.
Well, he's just deleting some of his seawalls anyways. All right, so Nikov's not doing anything too fancy. He is just going to try and play water. In which case, I think the melee, if they match it and do the same builds, will be more than fine. Melee advance faster to the next stage. Long term, that guarantees them a Vil lead. And it's going to be galleys from running. And Nicov will be right behind him to feudal. We'll see what Nicov chooses to do. I would assume it's also going to be galleys, but it could be fire ships because he went forward dock.
Yeah, the Georgians are a save we see more on hybrid maps, not as much on pure water maps, where we might expect the melee to be played.
Yeah.
So I wonder how heavily Nicov is going to commit to the docks and the galleys. Because he's on a third dock now, and that feels like this is a very heavy commitment to water.
Yeah.
And trying to play the map more like a water map rather than an arena map.
Well, Nikov's micro is insane. And he's one of the best micro players in the game. Where things slip for Nicov is the transitions of adding farms and adding economy and getting upgrades. So I think once he determines that running's doing the same thing as him, in many ways he's going to be comfortable. But it is just exactly where I think running would want to be is the melee. So no complaints from his side. And the galleys are going to meet each other near the docks right now.
And running, will he see that forward dock? He's a tile off and he sees it, so he knows the dock's forward.
Yep. Yeah, Nicov, that's all Nicov needs. He sees you run into a volley that I didn't. I'm going to go get that galley before you can get back and repair it. Running, though, able to get some dodges, and now Nicov regretting this. That's really nice work from running. And now Nikov's going to be even more aggressive against the galley. And he's misclicking. He's clicking the other one, and he gets it.
Yeah, they were stacked on top of each other. You see Nicov wanted all of his arrows to hit one galley, but they were so close he couldn't avoid clicking that front one.
Yep. Remember, the berries, are they always in the back? Like near the shoreline? I don't know.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the berries in the shoreline. Yeah, that was one of your requests to put the gold and the stone in the front, and because of that, the only room for the berries was in the back.
Yeah.
But it is kind of interesting that you can deny the berries consistently if you win the water.
Well, that's what I'm thinking is if Nicov were to lose water, which I don't think he will, That's really bad for the time being, to lose that on the berries too. But we're still a long way from that. Fletching is on the way for Nicov. Running doesn't have that coming in yet. And once Nicov has it, again, I just expect him to just use every advantage he can with the micro. He's so confident against a player like Running, who typically wants to rely on the defensive walls and more macro-oriented play. So he wants the fights. And actually, the villagers won't have loom. So he could harass the wood line here if he gets through there.
When he broke through the wall, and as you were saying, this is on the shallow, so Running won't be able to re-wall there. So if Nicov, I don't know how much of that wood line he can hit now, but if he stays forward, when you get up to the castle age, you do War Galley and Bodkin, and you get more range, then you really can push the vills off of that wood line. Because the wood lines aren't actually that thick on this map. You are pretty close to the coastline wherever you're chopping wood, unless you go from the middle.
Tiny detail here, Nicov has had quite a few villagers on the shorefish around some of these docks, which I think will drop off in efficiency now, but he's had that, and he's had one more fishing ship. So maybe with food income, it's been slightly better, but Running is usually pretty accustomed to just using the market here. I think he'll just sell off any resources later on if he's worried, but I am seeing more ships for Nicov. Running has ships over-queued a little bit, which just tells me he's not able to balance his resources as perfectly as Nicov, and Nikov's got 400 food already dropping the market, so not a civ you'd expect to be played on this map, or at least that's what I didn't expect. But Nicov is making it work really well.
Yeah, and with the market, he's probably going to sell stone and try to go up.
Oh, man.
Running is farther away in resources, but he's still in the way.
Dude, Nicov, you can see how confident he is, right? Like, his micro is just unreal, and he gets good engagements, and I think he's just won water. Running's forced to take the fight. But, yeah, this is just not looking good for Running. Nicov will have more follow-up army. Nicov could be in Castle Age faster. This could be another quick one here, and it is.
That is another quick one.
Wow.
That's Nikov's experience in the galley micro. I know he's been playing this since back on Voobly, and he's going to be very comfortable seeing he has a small advantage, but they're just pouncing once he gets 1 or 2 extra galleys, and feeling that Running didn't have anywhere to run. His fishing ships were there, and he didn't want to lose them.
I mean, you can lose water if you're doing a different build, right? If you're doing a different build, you can lose water because you're building up towards a different economy or a different strategy. But if you're doing the exact same build, you cannot lose water this quickly. That is just, quite honestly, a skill difference. Nicov just so quick to the numbers and so good with the micro. And even if the water was still even, like, Nikov's resources are balanced out so well here. I mean, still Running, the same thing applies. It's going to be tough for him to stay alive. He is who I consider to be maybe 6th in the group in terms of skill. If he can still snag a win, the pain from the first 2 games goes away. The last game still matters. But
it does, but the last map's also going to be water, because that's going to be Seychelles.
Yeah. But it's not water where you should see quite as much early pressure on water, but it could be considered a lot more multitasking, which Nikov's going to love. And here we are. Yeah, here's Seychelles, which, again, is a beautiful map. You start with the transport on the outside, which you can use as a scout. You start on a big island that is connected on 2 separate sides via land to the other side. Players can go for water in the middle. Players can go for water on the outer ring. And if this goes late T-West, there's actually a lot of transporting that's needed because that wood, the stone, and the gold on these islands on the outside can become really valuable.
Yes, absolutely. And we've seen water civs played here. And if you go super late game, then cannon galleons start ranging the inside of the main part of the land. Mm-hmm. And players who go for castle drops can start losing their castles to cannons, or maybe even if we, not in this matchup, but we've seen Dromans and Luchuans, which can also be useful. And those civs, there are differences between, like, the Persians, which I've seen played on this map, but aren't a good late-game water civ. And these 2 civs here, Italians and Vikings, who both might not go for the forward on land and might prefer to play water.
Yeah, you have, what I like about the Italians is you have a very versatile tech tree, so you could go scouts, archers, knights, condos later. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do even gunpowder, like bombard cannons too. So certain players, I would expect them to open with land if they can. Here's Nicov. Is Nicov going to lame? Or is he just going to take the sheep?
Some pigs.
Okay. But this was Nikov's map, and he picked Vikings, which is typically less dimensional than, or just less flexible. I can't speak than the Italians. So, but I know Nicov. I've seen him play this before with other civs, and he loves to play the land and then take the water in Castle Age. And I think that's perfect for the Vikings because you can't play galleys in feudal without super committing to them and not doing anything else. And there also might not be as much payoff on the galleys too. But if you get to longboats just completely wreck everything. So I'd like to see maybe scouts or archers. And then later on, Nicov might make the longboats.
Yeah, and here we have running. Looks like he's going to dock the middle. And in the feudal age, Vikings, at least in this patch until, next little over a week, we have the new DLC. They have demos, but they lack fires.
Oh,
so
my
Nicov
God.
won't be able to do feudal age fires in the middle.
Oh, man. Running just lost a villager to a rhino. Oh, no. I mean, already a really rough start.
Oh, no.
Maybe he's lacking confidence.
Now.
Maybe he's tired.
Garrison and shoot.
Yeah, that's brutal. And yeah, it has happened in Platinum League. It happened to MBL. But it shouldn't happen because you could just shoot the rhinos with the TC now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Deduzu try to play Zimbabwe, but he used the house foundation to de-aggro a rhino and then tried to delete the foundation and deleted his vill.
I did not see that. When was that?
Oh, that was, I think, his first round set. I forget who he was playing, but he had a beautiful opening, did everything right, stopped some rhino lures from his opponent, and then deleted his villager.
Oh, God. Well, I don't have safe delete on, and one time I deleted my town center, so that's a little bit worse than deleting the vill.
I've done that too.
Well, running will know he lost the villager. Running will also know just how much pressure that is. Running knows there's viewers watching right now, and there are people right now who are rooting for him, who are frowning in the chat and maybe disappointing. That's a lot of pressure on a player, and that can snowball on you so hard in this game. I just really hope for Running he doesn't run to the north right now with his scout, because the town center is right there from Nicov, and he doesn't. Nicov docked the outside, so he's fishing there. Nicov knows that Running has docked the middle. But it's tough to, if you haven't already docked the middle, to compete with the civ that gets fire ships. Because one dock galleys would always lose to one dock fire ships. So, and then do you really want to commit to an extra 2 docks? Probably not. The middle water might be secure for Running for a while.
Yeah, at least until the Castle Age, Nicov could go 2 or 3 docks longboats in the Castle Age, and then you pretty much win against everything if you had a couple demos to deal with the fires. But as far as the feudal age is concerned, Running can do whatever he wants. He can take the fish, and he can take the oysters, too. This was another one of your requests, to add the oysters to the middle for a bit of gold.
The thing is, he's lacking so much intel as well. He's bringing a villager to the back of Nikov's base in the transport. He doesn't know where Nicov is docked, though. He doesn't know that Nicov is building a forward barracks at his base. This could be all like that other game all over again, where Nicov just surprises him with man-at-arms.
Well, Nicov could be surprised, too, with this vill in the back on that transport. They might both be surprised.
He wants to dock Nikov's dock so he could flood fires onto the fish, but he doesn't know where the dock is yet, so he's waiting for it. He's looking for it. And, all right, he will find it. Yeah. So that's the strategy. It's a good strat. It's just a little late. But Nicov won't know about that. Nicov has his barracks. Running won't know about that. Running is going to tower now. Interesting. So I wonder if Running just assumes now that with the back dock that Nicov would go man-at-arms. I actually like that tower. I know you really want gold income, but if you have the oysters in the middle for the gold, and as long as you protect the wood line, it's not the worst tower in the world.
Yeah, that's been his plan. He's been taking the oyster for gold, so he hasn't needed a mining camp. He saved a bit of wood not needing that. And that tower now protects his entire eco. Every single vill he has is taking wood from that wood line. That is literally everything.
Oh my God, though. Nicov This is a strategy I used to see on islands. Nicov expecting fire galleys at some point. He doesn't know from where. He's forward docking with his fish. So he's going to hide his fish down there, which is really interesting. Especially because, I mean, there's fires coming here from running. So it's the perfect counter to whatever running is going to try if he wants the fishing kills.
Yeah, and especially knowing that you're the Vikings. And the forward dock to try to get fires on the Viking dock in Feudal is a strat I've seen quite a bit because you won't have those counter fires. If you can run the fish all the way down there, which he has, oh, that's wonderful. He'll keep all the fish safe, and running will be looking around like, what's going on? I built this dock for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You're never going to look that far. You're going to look to the left, you're going to look to the right, but you're never going to look that far unless the meta develops and then people expect it. So maybe this is more known because of practice sessions and whatnot. Running is badly housed. He lost a couple houses to these man-at-arms. He's definitely under pressure, but he's also adding a lot of economy in the middle. So that's completely unprotected, but it is also safe because Nicov has chosen to play land. And Nicov is behind this double mill. Mill on the shorefish, mill on the berries there, and a couple farms. So his food eco is at least very strong.
Yep, double mill. He doesn't have any of the eco upgrades, though, as you might expect from Nicov. But at least he gets that free wheelbarrow as the Vikings. So that'll be good for the farms.
Hey, running found this. That's a sick find from running. I don't know if he's paying attention to that right now, but he does find the fish. Right now, unfortunately, the fire is just dishing out damage into the dock and not hitting the fishing ships. I think Nikov's plan is exactly what I said. His plan is to win water and castle. If he can click up the castle, we will definitely see docks, and I think the middle area becomes very vulnerable for running. So running needs to get some counter damage on land, force Nicov to do something other than just man-at-arms. It's been literally 3 man-at-arms for Nicov and all eco, nothing else.
Yeah, and at least now running, finding those fish might slightly affect Nikov's castle age timing, but I think it's too late as he has just about 800 food, and running is nowhere close to clicking up himself, even with all those fishing ships.
And Nicov is just going to sail away with his other 2 fishing ships and go back to his initial dock. Because running doesn't have a fire there. Maybe he will, though. But you're okay.
Yeah, the map is so large, you can get away with that.
Yeah. I think if Nicov goes double dock in the middle, running is going to have a really tough time. Running needs those man-at-arms to get to Nikov's base very quickly. He'll have to clear this first. He has fletching on the archers. It's good micro. But clock is ticking, and there's 1 dock from Nicov. I would expect a second in the middle, and there's no navy to protect that fishing eco for running.
And he should be expecting this, right? He should be expecting Vikings to want to go longboats.
Yes.
If you've seen the Civ play enough water maps, you're used to it. You're used to that. I don't know how many water maps running actually plays. As we said, he is more of the clown type of player.
Well,
but
and he's
no surprise here for what Nikov's doing.
And it's clear as well, he's going high risk, high reward, right? Like 13 fishing ships is crazy. Normally you see 7 to 8 and then you see a couple fires. But I think based on how the series has gone today, he's taking some risks. I mean, he could click up to Castle Age soon, but losing 14 economy is just going to be so bad for him. He doesn't have any farms. He didn't get the second mill like Nicov did. And he doesn't even know about it. Like, he can't even make fires because he doesn't even know about it. Oh, man.
And usually if you're in a situation like this, you might add in 1 galley just to patrol the coastline.
Yeah.
Shoot any dock villas and at least force Nicov to send 2 or 3 villas to force a dock up. Here he has no idea what's going on. I mean, maybe the only good thing is he's taken most of the fish already, and the fishing ships are tasking themselves to the shorefish now.
Nicov is so locked in, though. He has all the walls he needs at home. He has skirms waiting because he knows those archers are going to get to him eventually. So the walls are up almost perfectly. Skirms in the amount that he needs. Docks on the outside in the amount that he needs. Running is coming to protect the middle now. He wants to place another dock, but the first longboat is already here. He's 2 minutes away from Castle Age, T-West. This is bad. And the water on the outside as well is going to be full longboat spam from Nicov. So he will also potentially have the outside water.
And he might even kill that forward Vil by the outside dock. I don't think Running's paying attention.
Oh, he's got the scout there too. But the dock in the middle is what I'm looking at. Nicov brings in the scout as well to contribute. He's paying such close attention. He immediately moves off of his wood line and will bring the skirms over. Nicov just feels like he's twice as fast right now. He does actually need the numbers of the longboats in one area. If you try and split up too much, it could be dangerous.
Yeah, but this is one dock production, though, in the middle. I think he only needs 2 longboats, maybe a third.
Yeah.
But he'll destroy all the fish.
That's
Against
true.
someone who's still feudal, they can't make fire galleys fast enough.
Yep, that's a good point. And Nicov doesn't have the same fishing eco, though. He's just got the wheelbarrow and handcart now of the Vikings with his land economy to carry him. He needs to snipe the fishing ships. And he's finding the fishing ship kills, and he will take down the fire galley. And I think the middle is completely lost for running. This is brutal. And he's always going to try and upgrade his archers on the outside, too. And Nicov finds them right before the upgrades, too. He does run away
at least
for
he
now.
Doesn't kill anything, but yeah, that's exactly the timing Nicov wanting, and everything has gone wrong for running this game. Nikov's reacted perfectly to everything running was doing.
Yeah, but if running got a lot of food. Running has crossbow now. Nicov doesn't have elite skirm, so these skirms are gonna die. If running goes for a siege push, I'm seeing the second TC now. He could maybe drop the third, maybe get some relics, maybe add some farms. It could be okay. The eco KD is never gonna look good, but res collected is still somewhat close. And Nicov, it's not like he has a lot of fishing ships himself. So let's see if running can get something together here. I'm very glad he didn't call it, because the score, both in the game and also in the series, could make someone get very dejected here. But you have to try.
Yeah, and some of that score, I'm sure running knows, is going to be the longboats that are still alive in the middle, and all the resources added to the score from destroying the fishing ships. So it's not necessarily saying Nikov's eco is super far ahead right now. It's just saying he has more longboats that right now won't contribute to the fight if he's forwarded with a double workshop on land with mangonels.
Yeah, and that town center is a huge target too. Nicov doesn't know anything about that. He thinks it's just the crossbows. This is some big commitment from running. And he could eliminate that town center. He can cut off this whole side of the base. Nicov could get pretty panicky at times. This is now the time for running. Maybe start to sneak in a couple more farms at home, get to stone, think about a third town center. I wouldn't hate a monastery here, because redemption is something the Italians can get for their monks as well.
Yeah, and a monk push is not something the Vikings like stopping. The Viking monks themselves, no redemption, no sanctity even. So mangonels, if you send a couple monks forward, yes, the mangonels snipe off the Viking monks, and they're kind of useless here.
Yeah, but this is where multitask is really tough for the aggressor, because you don't know the siege workshop is there, and that first mangonel, if you're adding those farms at home or any transitions, can surprise you. So first mangonel is the most important for Nicov. It'll be hopping out any moment.
He has it now.
Oh, dude, he's locked in. Running is locked in. He reacted immediately.
He dodged.
He falls back. And if he continues this push, there's another town center right behind it.
Oh, this is the push running wants, right? He's doing his best to turn this into a game of arena.
Yep.
Turn it into a monk and mangonel push, or even just a mangonel push where he's comfortable microing.
Nicov will take the 1-for-1, but he's getting housed right now. He's starting to float a lot of resources, and he's not exactly able to spend it. Vikings can't go for redemption, like you said. Their knights are not very good, but Nikov's dropping a stable. You don't have a ton of counterplay to heavy sieges, the Vikings. But there's no monastery there, so maybe a surprise knight or two could be the play for Nicov.
Yeah, and Nikov's eco was set up for 3 TCs, which requires a lot of food. It's hard to suddenly get mangonels out when you were planning on booming, and need to make that swap to the workshop and then swap back to food for knights.
Nikov's housed again. He's losing these houses so quickly. If you can't out-micro Nicov, you just have to outproduce him, says running. And there he goes. Nikov's still permanently housed.
He's losing more houses. He's losing the hutch. He's losing everything.
Yeah. I mean, look at his wood and his gold count right now. Look at his wood lines. Like, this is where the pressure starts to add up. And eventually, the Vikings are just way more awkward than the Italians on land. This would be a huge win for running. Based on how the first 2 games went, Nicov would also consider this a drop of points, which he will not want to accept.
Yeah, he would.
I think everyone else in the group would love for Running to get this win as well if they're going to be competing with these two.
They absolutely would.
Okay, this is where the food eco for Running completely drops off. He's 3 on food because he has no farms, but he has to micro here.
Food. He doesn't need food. He needs mangonels and monks.
This is crazy micro. This is insane. Oh, Nicov with the moves. Nicov with the great moves. Oh my goodness, what was that? There is a monk
exactly
back there.
What he needed.
There is a monk
now healing.
You might need to wait until you have a couple more knights then if you're Nicov. I see Lycav. Nicov still is the villager lead. He just needs to take care of the mangonels. The micro from Running, that's a big attack round.
Oh, Nicov gets both repair vills, so there are no more vills here for Running to repair.
Oh, good detail. This is a very hard game to cast with 2 people because it's just constant action. But dude, Nikov's shots have been unbelievable. It was like 1v5 at times, and he's still getting the connects.
Sometimes I feel that when you have more mangonels, it starts to get harder to micro them because you have so much you need to click on.
That's relatable, yeah. But if you have it sectioned off like this and you have a couple of them on the TC, and then you just have 1 or 2 on the front, that's fine. Back at Running space, he's just placed some farms. Now he'll move back in. Nicov is waiting for Lycav. And Nicov knows if he can clear this once, it's game over. He gets the sweep to start off Titans League Season 5, which would be actually half the wins he had in group stage last time, even though he went into the playoffs and did well. I think he's going to have enough to clear this T-West. He's just waiting a little bit longer. He's just waiting as long as he can because some of the Lycav might get killed off via an attack round or something. So many
that would
mangonels.
Be a big attack round. That's 7-8 mangonels for Running against 3.
This is ridiculous. I don't know if I've ever seen so many mangonels on screen before, and I've watched a lot of Huang games
for the Knights. Okay, but here comes the Lycav. Here comes the Lycav. He needs an attack round. Nikov's splitting.
Oh, Running killed his own mangonel. He killed his own mangonel. The monk is going to go down. And then the Knights can come in to finish it. Oh, it all falls apart for Running. The conversions were never going to be enough. And Nicov will clear it up, and Nicov gets the sweep. The most created unit there for Running. He made 18 mangonels.
18 mangonels. Oh, and the bad thing is he lost most of them. Imagine having like 12 mangonels at once.
Yeah.
Attacking the TC.
Nicov.
I credit to Nicov in the mangonel micro there. He kept everything. It felt like every shot he wanted, he landed, and he wasn't losing his mangonels in the process.
It's hard to be patient there. You can overextend once. I think a lot of people would send in the first night, and then you lose the night, and then suddenly you don't have a monk, and then that's a problem. Like, Nicov, his town center received, where's the stat here? 10,000 damage. 10k damage, and he just kept repairing it, and he just kept holding, and he kept being patient. That is really good. I will also add, I know the result is not good for Running, but I really like the fight in the last game. That's what he needed to try. That was the way to win the game, but Nicov is just too good.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of sets in the Silver League where a player resigned after 1 to 3 minutes because they did something wrong with a Vill and a Borlor. But Running, even after losing the Vill, he kept on fighting. He never stopped. Mm-hmm. Never stopped or gave up early that set.
Yeah, I think him losing the sheep. I think the Dark Age and Feudal Age wasn't so clean. Obviously, losing all the fish wasn't good. But Nicov had some cool strats here. He made it into the type of game the Vikings want: get to Castle Age, win the water with longboats. GG. Running. It's not going to get much easier, but he still has 4 more rounds. I think he can play sharper than what we saw here today. I think style-wise, it's a bad matchup because of Nikov's aggression. But we'll see if he can get more wins next time. But a good start for good old Nicov.